Thank you, everybody, for checking in. This is Prolific Press's February poetry reading event. We have a small group today. We're going to kick things off with Joel Shavinsky. Joel.
Hi, thank you very much, Glenn, and good morning, everyone. I know it's actually afternoon on the East Coast. I have two poems, both of which are relatively short. And the first one is called Signs. There are people looking for signs, those blunt instruments that stand for themselves, but they are searching without imagination, as if the curving arabesques of bird wings or the arc of rainbows were the biblical default. Inside, they find tokens of grace and election at every turn of the dial, while the outside is constantly scanned in a vigilance for the voices that seem to have fled from the head. After the breakdown of the reason machine, the unknowns sold us the salvation of algorithms and the denaturing of nature, foreshadowing what, in the future, a person will finally start to glimpse of their past suffering. But today, you can drive down your freedom road and learn that all the street signs were made in prisons. Thank you. I had selected that poem to read today before the invasion of Ukraine, and I know we're not supposed to get into politics, and I won't, but it just carries a special resonance for some people this morning. My second poem is very short. It's a little four-liner. It's called Binge Watching. It was occasioned by a pattern people got into a lot in the early phases of the pandemic. Binge watching. You've watched your fill. You're hungry still. Just empty shells of Pavlov's pixels. It's 4 lines. I'll read it just again quickly. Binge watching. You've watched your fill. You're hungry still. Just empty shells of Pavlov's pixels. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let me find my glasses. Aha, they're on my pocket. I'm going to go ahead and read a couple real quick, and then we're going to move to Debbie Walker-Lass after that. Okay, Debbie? There was a time in my poetry writing where I really got into the short poems. And these are, I'm not going to share my screen, but the line breaks really do a lot of work here. I'll do one called Fly Fishing. Trickery is stirring, drifting in the brook, a shiny ordained barb, luring the fish with a colorful story, promising fulfillment while twisting and dancing like magic in the shallows.
Yeah.
And this one, I grew up in Indiana. This one's called Oh, I need to make a. I've been putting a little check mark in my book every time I read one, so I don't do the same one twice. Indiana Deer. Looking for trouble is serious business. Dotted by orange hunters, only barely aware their swelling bellies.
Glenn, there's a hum that's drowning you out.
Okay.
Who's coming?
Like a feedback hum.
It's a short. It's a short. It's a grounding short somewhere. Ah. Somebody's mic recorded.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you read that last one again, Glenn? We couldn't
No.
hear it.
All
Yes.
right, thank you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we lost everything after hum.
I think I leaned forward and bumped my mic and something horrible happened.
Ah, there we go.
Okay, Indiana deer. Looking for trouble is serious business for white-tailed deer in the frosted Indiana fields. They amble deftly in a black and white world, dotted by orange hunters, only barely aware their swelling bellies tighten, waiting for the spring.
Hmm.
Okay. Debbie Walker-Lass.
Okay. I have two today. One is a 3-line, and the other is one that was just published by a Crescent journal, and it is in response to the Starry Night. And the request was write something about the Starry Night that hasn't already been written, which is pretty difficult. But I made an attempt with a new form, the Blitz. I don't know if y'all have used the Blitz form, but I really enjoy it. It's a 50 staccato line poem. So anyway, I'll get to that after my little 3-line. The very flowers you cultivate grow freely in a wilder place. And that was the very flowers you cultivate grow freely in a wilder place. Okay, also with the Blitz, you have to name the poem specifically on the last word of the 47th line and the first word of the 3rd line. So you can't even name it yourself. But it worked out for me in this case. It's called Away in Dreams. Caterpillar on window pane. Caterpillar crawls away, away from faux roof, away red-headed madman. Madman of St. Remy, madman with irises. Irises, wheat fields, isolation. Irises in thick streams, streams of undulating cobalt. Streams of the Rhine, Rhine River take me. Rhine, put me under your blanket, under your depths. Depths of indigo mine, depths of illuminated sorrow. Sorrow and thin confinement. Sorrow dripping from paintbrush. Brush and palette demons. Brush me aside, St. Remy. St. Remy, scintillating lights. St. Remy taunting my window. Window cracked at midnight. Window, my tortured soul. Soul like a vice. Soul of asylum. Asylum of barred protection. Asylum saturated in beauty. Beauty of Alphilly's mountains. Beauty slices through pain. Pain profound echoes. Pain persistent menace. Menace soaked in turpentine. Menace in closed corridors. Corridors locked for safety. Corridors muffle the sound. Sound reverberates as color. Sound of Theo's voice. Voice crawling into corners. Voice lightly coaxing. Coaxing me together. Coaxing me, brother. Brother, he insists. Brother, father, caretaker. Caretaker of my loose mind. Caretaker of the yellow house. House of my dreams. House of melancholy. Melancholy dreams.
Nice.
Very nice. Did you have another one today?
That's it.
Okay. Those writing prompts really seem to bring. I think when I first started writing, I didn't see my work really bloom until I was challenged by writing prompts to force me to constrain my work and to dial down. And sometimes it really does. But I started from the beginning with the idea that I was going to overwrite and cut back. And that always has been a benefit to me. Does anybody else do that? You overwrite and cut back? Yeah, several of you. No? Edward just says, it just comes out perfect. I don't know why. All right. Well, thank you for that. That was beautiful. Mary Gunn, all the way from
And
beautiful
Jen,
Ireland. Yes.
Glenn, I have just one tanka ready to read. It's St. Patrick's Day is coming up shortly, and we haven't had a St. Patrick's Day parade now for 2 years, but we're having one this year. And this is a tanka. I wrote about it a few years back. I just want to, yeah, here it is. From the church, hail glorious St. Patrick. On the street, an American high school band readying for the parade. That was published in an online journal called Creative Inspirations. I
Beautiful.
don't
Can
have
you read
anything
it
else
again?
ready. Okay. From the church, hail glorious St. Patrick. That's a hymn. On the street, an American high school band readying for the parade.
Great.
You
Thank
see,
you
we
for
get a
that.
lot of American school bands coming over here for the St. Patrick's Day Festival.
Oh, wow. Well, I imagine that St. Patrick is very popular in Ireland.
Oh, he's huge. I mean, we've turned the weekend into a whole week-long festival now.
Really?
I mean, it's the big
Wow.
time for Irish Americans to come to search for their ancestors.
Yeah, it's
We
probably
see
the
them every year dressed in their green. They're about town for the whole week.
I'm gonna
Sorry,
write
what were you
that
going to
down.
say?
Well, first I have to write down about towns because I love that. And I was just saying that it's the off season, I think. So that would be just an incredibly good time to travel if you're a traveler.
It's
Thank you.
amazing to see, like at St. Patrick's Day, the weather here, sometimes you can have sunshine and half an hour later you can have hailstones. And I've often watched all these American school bands and they're dressed in their little short skirts and it's freezing cold. We're all muffled up in scarves and woolly hats and things, and they're in these little outfits. And I don't know how they're not freezing, but
Well,
they seem to love it.
yeah. Well, thank you for that.
Okay.
Okay, James Bethel.
Thank you. Thank you, Glenn. I was thinking of reflecting on some of your comment about the poetry writing process. And I got a lot of encouragement and support in my early days, 30 years ago, from William Stafford. He said once when he was asked about his poetry writing, he just said that his poems just came. And that's kind of how my work is. And I get a lot of reinforcement out of their appearance when they occur. And even more when I get the opportunity to go back and edit to make it make sense. So anyway, I've got 3 for you. They're all related to winter because we're just now being liberated from it here in Oklahoma. This first one has the title Overexposed. It was written while I was living in Maine. No more images to uphold. America has been trademarked and sold. Unaware, buyers invest, purchase impotency and fabricated cures. Cloned Coca-Cola bottles in 4-wheeled mud tracks watch the world upside down. Insensitive to everything except their emptiness. They laugh, and we hear the sound of glass shattering in an otherwise not to be remembered sub-zero February night. This one is called Thaw. This cold Saturday morning, winter has wrapped her icy arms all around my loved ones. From California, Oregon, Washington, Colorado, Texas, and all the way across Ohio into the Carolinas and all the way up into New England. Here in Tulsa Town, a warming trend is apace over the next several days. Moderate northerlies continues to abate, allowing a return to sunshine and slowly rising temperatures. Still, it is cold. A high adjusted freezing is forecast for the day, while radiance begins a welcome thaw toward spring. You know, sometimes it takes a long time. And for some, perhaps several lifetimes before the ice around our heart thaws enough for us to see that we have been seen. No more than we possess the weather do we possess love. Love possesses us, that we might share it constantly, often awkwardly, despite our ignorant protestations to its weather. And last, living in Colorado, asphalt civilization. A full winter moon howls across the west from behind the mountain where the sun will rise 14 hours from now. It's a cold night, a colder tomorrow to be followed by clouds and snow. Deer on the east slope at this hour across the valley stare into the occasional headlights, leaving rubber ribbons burned into their retinas, blinded to our asphalt civilization and my little cabin. Dawn will still their confusion, making it safer hour by hour from those wolves whose solos and corrals name that howling moon. They know, the deer know, and I know, after many, many moons, that the howling is mutual. The rising and falling of a choreographed dance as ancient as Lascau's caves.
That's nice. Thank you very much.
You betcha.
I'm always reminded as I go through the slush piles how often the moon appears,
Oh, yeah.
and also in my own work. For me, it's this sort of personification of the moon in my mind as this great imposter in the sky, because it doesn't create its own light. You know, we look
Right.
up and we
Yeah.
see this shining object, but it's not shining. It's just cheating. It's reflecting somebody else's light. So. Lynette.
The Zen poems are full of moons.
Yeah. Lynette Esposito.
Hello,
Hi.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
This is Lynette Esposito from sunny New Jersey. We have a lot of sun today in February. It's unusual.
Yay.
I've been writing poems on time for some reason. This is The Morning is Always After Something, an unsung song, a secret, a vision of deer escaping a headlight, always after secrets, after a party, after a breakup, after being fired, after too much to drink. Always after the last word, the final goodbye, after the train door closes, after the mother's tears, after something. Tomorrow is always before the goodbye, before the last word, before the train, before packing the suitcase, before doing the laundry, before something. Today is not yet written. It waits for the train, waits for the tears, waits for the final goodbye, waits for the last word, waits for something, waits for someone to die, waits to say goodbye, waits to begin again.
Oh, wow.
I was thinking of Mondays, and this is called The Canopy. The long-armed trees dressed in summer green gave shelter from the wild-eyed sun on the morning our house burned to the ground. I would have felt empty if it weren't for the trees, who did not reach down to embrace me, but raised their branches toward the sky as if to celebrate life. And that's it.
Very nice. Did you have a third one today?
Of course, I'm always ready. I am an egotistic poet. It's called The Old Metal Door. The rooms have nothing in them, cleared by the movers who took whatever, wherever. things that used to be important until you left. I close the old metal door and turn the key. Shadows fall on my face as I turn away. I would stay a while longer, but I have a plane to catch before it leaves without me.
Oh,
Very nice. Appreciate that.
yeah.
Okay, so here's a little Easter egg for those who actually come and watch these things. I think a lot of our poets say they will, but they don't. And if you're checking in, today is February 26th, and anyone who places a bookstore order at Prolific Press between now and the end of February, we will double your order for free.
Ah,
Okay, so that's unadvertised. Don't repost it. It's only for the people that are actually here and who actually come and watch this. So you don't have to do anything special. We'll just double the order on our shipping. And we're going to move on to Edward Ahern.
Glenn, did I hear that share screen is an option, or is it bad ears?
You may share. I don't know if I have it set to allow that. Let me check. There you go. I think that works now.
Okay. This is can everybody see that?
Yes.
An apologia is not an apology, it's a formal defense. So it's an apologia. No point in my saying sorry, because I'm not. My bruising of your self-love was overdue. Your spreading rumors about me verifies my friends. Your lack of contact with me refreshes my soul. When your festering resentments erupt, you're the one scarred. No apology, but heartfelt thanks for liberating me.
Very nice. Yeah.
The next one needs a tiny bit of backstory. I was asked by a woman who's a fellow poet in another group. Her sister died, and she was looking for something that was a poem to read that was uplifting and upbeat. And I couldn't think of anything or find anything in a quick search, so I wrote her one, but I didn't know her sister's name. So that's what this poem is. For whoever, the measure of a life isn't length or wealth or power or success. It's the brush strokes we gave to others. The nurture and the help, the small kindnesses, the mercy and forgiving, we painted unto others in strokes big and little. For when we have gone, all we have left behind is a self-portrait composed of the lives of those we've touched with the colors of our being. And the sister's name is Erin. So.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
And then let me pull up the other one very quickly. Bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I think, which is, I'm back to snarky on this. This is called Crosstalk. Everybody see it?
Yes.
Pets talk to their people in pantomime with sound effects. Not the lower order captives, snakes and rabbits and falcons. They view us as feeding stations. But the dogs and monkeys and horses, cats and pigs and maybe bears, all are able to tell us off. Not in words, for to them words are just human to animal affection. The threatened punishment in loud and harsh staccatos, and the body language which means they're being lied to. And they talk back to us in silent movie pantomime of raised hackles and arched backs, paired with yowls and howls and purrs and occasional bites and scratches. We learn slowly, but eventually we can know their mood in a single glance.
Oh, nice. Very nice. It's also nice to see those line breaks. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that In the middle of this, you did cut out for just a moment, but because you were sharing the screen, we were able to follow along and see everything. I think that I'm going to try and always be prepared like you were to have the screen shared, because it really helps, if you have a problem. Plus, those line breaks do so much for us, don't they?
I need a tutorial on how to do that.
It's very painless. Down at the bottom of the screen, there's a little, in the center, there's a little green thingy.
Yeah.
You click it, and you have to have something open in Word.
Ah, okay.
If it's open in Word, it'll show up. When you click it, it'll show up, and then you click on that, and it automatically goes to share screen. It's even I can do it.
My trouble with that is that it took me a long time to figure out how to close it. Like once it was open and shared, how to stop sharing so that I wasn't.
Oh, that's up at the middle top. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little red link that says end share.
Yeah.
So when you're done, that's how you close it out. Okay. Well, thank you for that. That was really nice. Leonard Lund.
Afternoon, everybody. A couple poems from other wars. The shops are dark now, looted or not worth the effort. Some windows smashed, others hidden under layers of posters and graffiti that grew as control of this last city changed with the ebb and flow of battle. The doors and walls that framed them pocked with gunfire's blemishes. Where passing feet and tires would have once brushed dust and hubbub aside as a matter of course, the sidewalk and pavement are dirty, almost silent, almost abandoned. The woman sits on a crate, holds her daughter close while eyeing a man and a boy across the way. The sound of distant gunfire ceases so suddenly it takes a moment to register that perhaps the armies have finally done it, have finally killed the last of each other everywhere. And she turns her gaze away from the two strangers, pulls her daughter even closer as she wonders fearfully if this is the end of days or an uncertain Eden. A terrible week here in so many ways. Our infantry, with armor for support, fought building by building toward the center of the city from three sides, forcing most of the enemy out and back to the river. Well, that's a good thing. Oh, so many casualties, so many lives broken or ended. Not just combatants, but civilians from the elderly to their grandbabies. We've dealt with the carnage, pouring all our expertise into lost limbs and gaping chests, but emotionally, I don't think any of us have a snowflake's chance of recovering. During a lull yesterday, Marie and I tried to forget. Sitting on the running board of our ambulance with our needles and balls of yarn, two women like any two women, far from home and loved ones, in a moment of peace. This morning, a sniper got Marie. I'll write again when I can speak past the tears. Thank you.
Oh, wow. A couple people just sneaking in here to take their seats. Bob Whalen, welcome. We're happy to have you. Don't forget that you have to unmute yourself if you want to say hi. And Terry Glass, good to see you.
Hi.
I can't hear you, Terry, because you have to unmute your microphone.
Hi, this is the first time I've been able to log on, so I'm happy to be here.
Oh, well, we're glad to have you. Thank you for coming. Because we have a smaller group today, we are allowing 3 poems. And because you missed the beginning, just so you know, we do record this to put on Facebook later. And we're moving on to Thomas Festa.
Hi, Glenn.
Hey, Tom.
Thank you, everybody, for those moving poems. I'm going to start with a high bun. This is forthcoming in Drifting Sands, Haibun, next month. And it's called Peace Comes Dropping Slow, which is a quotation from Yeats's The Lake Isle of Innisfree. Peace comes dropping slow. It seems there are islands in lakes everywhere we go. Islands in lakes on islands. We've come to the west of Ireland by roads so narrow they set off the rental car's collision warning system when we turn past hedges, overhanging heather slapping windshield and doors, or traverse one-lane stone bridges horse-drawn carts would have found precarious. Monks first built on Innisfallen in the 7th century, half hour's row from shore, to be forgotten by the world. What's left 800 years after construction ended pokes just above the lake's dark surface, an elephant in a tanzanite sea. Patter of rain against the abbey's ruins, no roof but gray sky. Foxgloves in flower. Quiet rustlings of wild sika deer as they forage among fallen stones. They don't lose their spots as they age, are nocturnal and highly vocal, from soft whispers to loud screams. They swim to seclusion on the isle. A bewildering redundancy, their English name. Shika means deer in Japanese. In Nara Prefecture, they're known as bowing deer, and in China, where they've long been hunted for their velvet antlers deemed medicinal, plum blossom deer. Drops of sunlight, falling like the rain, finalized divorce. Thank you. This one is a sort of sonnet. It's called Adagio. To make oneself at home in the Apian other world, first take resentment's honey drip, smoke billowing from breast, whole swarms stinging your heart. To count from 1 to infinity would take an eternity, so set a rain date for the task. Weep your tears of shrug, necessity being the mother of dissension. Still, awaiting her gives time full body, debris of broken bottles on hot sand. What explanation could ever hope to match the reasons one had to leave? Such love hived past the threshold, such pollen-clogged fuzz on thorax, in letters to kids to be opened at 18. Thank you. One more, this one, a free verse poem called Home Away for Joanne. Warm bread, a shower together after our day in the sun, a slow morning sleeping in, everything to scale. Remember that greedy seagull gulping down a peach off the neighboring beach towel? How cars went speeding by, some veering into our lane, distracted by texts, rage. Forget them. Like ice chips in an orchid pot, slow sustenance. Deliciously uncrowded sailboats and harbor slips reflect off hotel windows. At the upper beach drift line, sea oats, salt hay, and panic grass stabilize the dunes. In the corner of our eye, gray cedar shingled beach houses alight on sun-drenched stilts. Soon we'll be driving home, that feeling of getting away, slipping away. Sustaining intensities will set. A slight tremor seeping in, easier dread than sun. Light lifted, your voice will climb. Scales fall as you sing over the car stereo, lyrics of heartbreak, of the life I thought I'd lived, till you were all around me. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you. Always so strong. Okay. I'm going to read one more, and then we're going to do the last 4 in this order. It'll be Jessica, And then Martha, Bob Whalen, and Terry Glass. So let me try and do this. Aha. So I'm sharing from glenlyvers.com this poem that I wrote a few years back called 50 Years with Grace. If I can. Grandma's eulogy was the naked truth. In church, no less, Charles told it all. How he met her during the Palm Sunday tornadoes, right there in the third pew, soaked in her too thin spring dress, thighs pale, panties the color of plum butter, sparking fugitive notions between prayers. To hear him tell it, they were greedy magpies stealing glimpses of each other as the storm boiled over the ridgeline, confining them to each other's embrace for 50 years. They were both contented birds in a cage with an open door, watching a blurring thresher harvest thousands of days, while Grandma remained timeless, forever 17 in the third pew, peaceful now as a sleeping honeybee in amber. The choir rose, singing Hallelujah as Charles dipped his hand into the water, made the sign of the cross, put on his black derby, and walked out into a hot August downpour, heat lightning and potato juice rain. Okay, Jessica.
Hello, I'm Jessica Dawson, and I live on Vancouver Island in British Columbia. And I will read 3 haiku, and I will share my screen so I'll be less nervous that I'm being looked at. And okay, so a little share screen, share word, share. So
There you go.
okay, this gentle winds gathering lost sheep in the sky. Gentle winds gathering lost sheep in the sky. That was published in Lyrical Passion Poetry E-Zine in 2020. And rushing waters. Today the river speaks a little louder. Rushing waters. Today the river speaks a little louder. That's from Open Journal of Arts and Letters in July 2020. That was published. And lastly, winter lace. The spider's web catches frost. Winter lace. The spider's web catches frost. That was published in Under the Basho in March 2020.
Oh, it's nice. Good job. On that second piece, the third line, a little louder, it almost felt as though it was a plea, like we're asking it to be a little louder, you know? Did that just kind of, I tried to turn things upside down, and it just felt, well, we just love that, don't we? That when we hear water running, it really doesn't matter, even if it's in the bathtub, there's just something about it. It's great.
And I'd like to say, remind people, I don't know if people remember from last time, that I have disabled arms, and so I can't put my hands up to do the jazz hands with everybody.
It's okay, no
I'm
problem.
cheering you on. I'm cheering you on in my heart. Just thought I'd let you know.
No, we're so lucky
Thank
to
you.
have you. Thank
you
you,
very
Jessica.
much.
Okay, you have to push the stop sharing button at the top. It's a little red. There you go. Martha Christina. Oh, she's just listening today, I think. I'm sorry. I think that she sent me a note about that. Bob Whalen.
He's muted.
Yep, you have to unmute yourself, Bob.
Got it. Sorry about that.
You're fine.
My mouse was malfunctioning. Also sorry that I arrived late. We had a big snowstorm yesterday, and I was just so enjoying shoveling the snow. I forgot the time and then came in, and at any rate, I apologize for being late.
We're glad to have you.
I've been reviewing some poems on health and medicine. The Missouri Review is looking for them, so I'll read three from that category. One is called Mechanical Quality. I've had a lot of surgeries on aftermarket parts, so mechanical quality. I'm starting to feel mechanical, but that doesn't make sense. Machines don't feel. Yet here I ride on a collection of systems that are more than the sum of their parts. Bellows operate air intake through channels, making the outside inside, where it becomes me. Same with the fuel system, where one life transmutes, becoming another life, again through channels that allow the outside energy to be extracted inside, the leftover waste expelled, becoming the outside again. The boundary between out and in is a flexible, self-repairing bag stretched over scaffolding, mobilized by electronically controlled, expanding and contracting cords, coordinated by a hardwired central processor with manufacturer-installed firmware. The optics consist of a wavelength-triggered semi-automatic rangefinder system, generating chemical transmissions, rendering pattern recognition. The dawn bleeds, hot cold yellows to reds, purples to blues. Cool air dances along the rippling grass, awakening green, whispering the scent of wildflowers. Loons call across a misty lake. An open road flows of freedom. The orange tastes so sweet. Thank you. I have another one here called There Are Voices. There are voices outside my room, the sound of other lives. As inside a monitor marches a soft alarm, concerned my heartbeat drops too low. My children sleep in other rooms far away, yet are present in the immediacy of my thoughts that wander to wonder where I am going, if anywhere at all. Bonds keep me attached and tethered to the earth, which seems so solid, stable, and enduring, contributing gravity so I am able to feel the weight of my body lying here and the boundaries of my existence in this bed. I can be quantified in weight and length and space displaced as facts of matter, a momentary balance, a searching for an understanding, allowing acceptance without yearning, and gratitude for just enough without demanding more. And the last one I'll give you a haiku called Anesthesiologist, as soon as I get it here. Now, I thought it would be short, but of course, this is taking more time than it's probably worth. Let me try one more bit.
It's okay. Take a minute.
Okay, it's called Anesthesiology. Anesthetized. Patient sleeps in silken sheets. Spider wraps the fly. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, we're going to finish things off with Cherry Glass. That's a poet's name if I ever heard one.
Thank you. I live in very northern California, between the Oregon and California border. And I just want to read this first poem is really about this beach up there called Crescent Beach. And I haven't given it a title yet, but I will pretty soon. Crescent Beach, so many sand dollars wash ashore, some white bleached by the sun, some face down, a few with traces of purple or green, the color when alive, often eaten by seagulls that dash them against rocks, or starfish that suck out their insides through the small hole in the back, leaving the exoskeleton we find. Sand cake, sea cookie, coins left by mermaids, the perfect five-pointed petal embossed on its shell, the familiarity of a shape within a shape, Da Vinci's Vitruvian man. We recognize kinship, beauty, novelty all at once. My friend Matthew picks them up lovingly, dusts off the sand and places them in a plastic bag for a picture frame he will make. Several beachcombers are collecting them, some tiny enough to make an earring. Big, small, white, broken, or round as the moon that pulls the tides. Sand dollars, enough to make you feel you've hit the jackpot of inventions the ocean generously gives away every day. And I'll read you a couple of haiku. This one, luxurious bath. Surprise, I'm sharing with Daddy Longlegs. Here's a few more haiku. March pond ripples, like boats the ducks glide. A mallard moons me.
Okay, and I know you came in a little late, but when you do a short poem like a haiku, we generally read it twice.
Oh, okay. March pond ripples, like boats the ducks glide. A mallard moons me. And then I'll read this last haiku. One scrub jay sitting on my fence post not budging, gift of persistence. One scrub jay sitting on my fence post not budging, gift of persistence.
Very nice. Thank you for the ocean poem. Someone else has said that they loved it. You know, as poets, we get the chance to take people places that they don't get to go. You know, there's a lot of, I try to, I mean, maybe I romanticize it, but I think, you know, somewhere out there, there's this inner city kid who's never been to anywhere, and he reads our poem and suddenly he's taken to the ocean, you know, and nobody does it better than a poet, you know, painting that picture of the heart in that moment. And that's just lovely. Anyway, I just really thought you did a great job there, and that touched me.
Well,
I miss the ocean.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that is it. So thank you all for coming today, and I will make an announcement very soon about the next reading. It'll be the last week, the last Saturday of next month at 1 o'clock, unless that falls on like a holiday or something. So I'll have to check into that. Okay. Thank you all. Really
Thank
appreciate you
you.
coming.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Glenn. So long,
You're
everyone.
welcome. Good seeing you, Joel. Bye, Terry. You did a great job. Jessica, I was very impressed.
Thank you very much. And I
know-
actually made it this time because it starts at 10 a.m. here.
Yeah, well, I know you were nervous and you did a great job, and I hope you come back. Bye,
Thank
Debbie.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Good.
Take care, James.
Thanks, Glenn. Bye.
See ya, Lynette. Bye-bye.